Hi everyone, and I'm here again to discuss some few things which have been going on in my mind with the immigration that has been happening, and few things that we could definitely see as an improvement in the express entry program. Now, why this topic, and why have I decided to talk about this? Uh, Currently, Canada has aggressive immigration targets like 1 million in next 3 years, which is great for Canada, and like it's definitely important that we have our population or working class growing, because our economy is going to survive on that, and it's basically uh, quite important that we have a decent number of immigrants coming in who are able to contribute and provide the support needed for our job market, and that's how our country is going to grow. However, there are definitely few improvements which I think is possible, are possible in this express entry program. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not here to you know say that this is right or this is wrong. This is just purely my opinion, and I thought I could share and just get some feedback on what others think about the same. So, so coming to some of the few key issues which I have seen, are not issues in the sense, some of the key observations. Now, coming to the express entry scoring methodology itself, express entry values scores points on few things over here. It scores basically points on education, your work experience, and your age, and your IELTS scores, right? These are the, I would say, the broad based pillars for on the basis of which your score is evaluated. And also there is additional weightage which is given to provincial nomination, your Canadian education, things like that add a little more points. Now, uh, what is the basic fundamental issue which I see as a scoring methodology in this express entry program is it's very generic, right? So let's say that you have 3 years of work experience, you get the maximum points. Beyond that, it is not going to add value, right? And also, it doesn't matter what kind of, I mean, so you could have worked for a great multinational company, or you could have worked for a smaller company. It is not going to make any difference, right? So definitely, I'm not trying to demean the local companies here, or no two jobs are same. I understand that. So for example, if you worked in a normal company in let's say another some country, and you have worked in multinational in some other country, obviously the value you're going to bring to the table might be different. Even though I'm not debating that someone is more valuable or less valuable, all I'm saying is those two things are not equal. You may have to associate points for someone with having more experience, or someone who's having lesser experience might get lesser points. So we need to basically have that differentiating factor for sure. I mean, we need to come up with a methodology where we give uh, points as per the experience, or as per the merit. Instead of capping it at after 3 years, we could make it more variable. And we also look at the quality of work experience, associate some kind of quality parameter. How we are going to do it, or how that happens, is completely a different thing. Now, coming to the education is again very generic. Like, no two universities are same. There are some universities which are very difficult to get in, which requires great quality of education, and there are some universities which are not so good, and not that do not produce very good students. Now, again, we have to accept this fact. Like, everyone is not at the same intellectual level or whatever. And I'm not saying that education is the key thing, but all I'm trying to say is it cannot be so generic. We need to make sure that we are associating value to education over here, and making sure that we are able to create enough differentiation between or better ranking methodology. Like two people could end up with same express entry scores, even though their skill sets might be widely different. So we need to address that as well. And third is age. For some reason, like after 30 years, the points start coming drastically down. But my observation has been, the person who is able to bring the most value to the table is someone who is around the age of 35 years, who has substantial work experience and has worked concretely in some industry and is bringing a lot more value to the table. So we need to change the points and the points dynamics on the age front, maybe. And the last point being, currently around, last point is diversity. I think we are not trying to have enough diversity in, the nationalities. Again, I'm not against any nationality, or I'm just saying that we need to have make sure that we have a proportionate diversity, like because there are certain, if we are not going to have diversity, then people tend to go to the communities where their nationalities or communities are already present. So what ends up happening is everyone starts coming to the same place, and there is a pressure on a single community because people want to come to their friends or families, and it creates, let's take an example of Brampton or Mississauga. Like, it has got a good chunk of population from South Asia and like India, Pakistan. So if we are going to have more immigration from these countries, then obviously everyone will start going to these locations because they want to settle with their family and friends. That creates intense pressure on social services and medical services, everything related to that. So if there is diversity, then it's quite possible that people are basically going into different areas, and it creates uniform distribution and development across Canada instead of just one city like Toronto or Vancouver. So I understand that there are jobs only in these cities, and so it's a cyclical process. Like, as and when we start seeing immigrants going into other cities, we will have development in those cities, and in this way we can have the entire country which is developed. So it is important that we have an important element called diversity, where we make sure that like there is equal representation from all nationalities in the express entry. And not, I understand that there are some countries which might have edge when it comes to education because of the education standards in that country. So we need to make sure that there is enough diversity in the program. So these were some of my observations when it came to express entry. I'm hopeful that I can get some feedback on my overall take, and hopefully we can see some changes. I don't know. The changes might happen, may not. I mean, changes might be something useful, or maybe whatever I told may not make any sense, and the current system might be good. But this is what I strongly feel for the overall development of Canada. We need to make sure that we are changing some of the criteria, and it is always it's never a permanent process. We are always improvising in what we are doing. So if we want to improvise further on this whole express entry program, I think that definitely we need to do this. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Hope you have some valuable feedback for me. Thank you.